Welcome back to No Soap, Not Travis, Joe, and Dad, and today we'll be talking about Dad's Texas hunt.
Yep, we will. And if it's a little noisy, we actually decided to sit outside
On our front step.
Yeah, tell them what we're doing while we're outside.
Because we are seam sealing Dad's new tent that he bought for Montana.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll need it, but I'd rather have it than have it and use it instead of not having it and needing it. So, but you got to seam seal it. So, sitting out, letting it cure, got all that done, and figure we talk about Texas. Got a lot to talk about there.
And also, I have one thing to say. Just if you're wondering, Dad plays that lick every time. It's not replayed, and he does it every time pretty good.
Yeah, it's not that hard of a lick.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah.
But it sounds like you just replay it, like when you edit it. But
yeah, because it's we have the guitar sitting outside. So if it gets windy, you hear a car come by, you hear a dog,
birds,
hear a dog bark or something like that. Just know we're sitting outside. So where you want to start? You want me to just tell you the whole story and go from there?
Yeah,
because it's a lot to cover.
A lot. He already told me one of the stories, and it was pretty long.
Yeah, well, I told you pretty much the story.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, me and Chase set out to Texas on Tuesday the 30th?
I have no idea.
I think.
No, the 1st.
No, we left and went to Shreveport and stayed in Shreveport. So we were kind of taking our time. We went from Jackson to Shreveport, grabbed a hotel, and actually won a little money at the blackjack table.
Huh. How much you win, sir?
Let's see. We sat down. We went and got some food. Had to kill a little time, so we walked over to the casino, which the hotel is by. Played blackjack. Chase doesn't really know much about blackjack. Doesn't play a lot, and I personally like blackjack. I just don't play a lot. And played a little while. We played for a while and had a dealer change, and we went from a slow dealer to a fast dealer, and it always kind of changes things up. Anyway, the dealer was just crushing us. Didn't have a whole lot left. Threw $100 out there. Figured it was worth the entertainment. And I guess second to last hand, had a guy get up from the table. And the way blackjack works is you play blackjack, which is 21. You know this because we played at the house. But then you can also do a side bet, which is like 21 plus 3. So you're basically playing 3-card poker. It's your 2 cards and the dealer's top card. And if they create a poker hand, they pay you on certain odds. Long story short, I had a king and queen club. And I was like, throw a jack of clubs. And I'll be darned if the dealer didn't throw over a jack of clubs. So that gave me a straight flush. And I had 2 side bets out. And one of them paid 180 to 1.
Wow.
So I had $1 out there and it paid me $180. And then the other one paid 30 to 1 or 60 to 1. And I had $5 out there. So I made like 400 something bucks off that hand.
Yeah.
And just like any other time I've ever walked away from a blackjack table, which I need to preface this, I don't play blackjack a lot. We're talking.
No, not a lot at all.
Once every couple years. Now, in my earlier years, I played a lot more.
Me and him will just, he has a little like set, and then we'll just kind of play without money.
Well, it's good for teaching the youngins how to count. When Joe was young, you got to count fast. Anyway, long story short, the only reason I made money is because Chase told me to take it and put it in my pocket. So I took they give, like when you get a certain amount of money, they give you colored chips.
Really?
Yeah, they're like 25 or hundreds or whatever. So I took all those, put them in my pocket, and kept what I had out there and played. Anyway, long story short, I made $300 in about an hour and a half. Had a good time, set the trip up right, went back to the hotel, and next morning we headed out. Chase is, and this is my buddy Chase Norris. He's never been to Shields.
Which is unbelievable to think about because I've been to it a couple of times.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big outdoor store. They have a Ferris wheel inside of it.
So, let's see. Let's give you an example. If you haven't been, Bass Pro mixed with, like, everything.
Like an Academy Dix Bass Pro all put together with a Ferris wheel and some even home decor in there, I think.
Yeah. It's basically like a little mall, but one store.
Yeah, so we went to the one in the Colony, which is just north of Dallas. It's actually where you met Steve Ranella.
Oh, yeah,
and Brody. So we went to that one. It was big. It was massive. We had a good time. Got to look around. Actually, surprisingly, we didn't buy a whole lot. I think we only spent like $150 or something. But it was a good time. Got our tags. And from there, we headed to the ranch. And the ranch is in kind of southwest of Abilene, I think. It's in Trent, Texas, or give or take around Trent. And met up with our buddy Bradley, who kind of runs the deer hunting out there. And like we did last year, we get in, we get everything situated, and then we grab our glass and binos and actually go sit in the high fence just to go look at big deer.
Yeah. Dad doesn't, like, normally hunt high fence.
Yeah, as it's not really my forte, but the way the ranch is set up is it's 5 or 600 acres in high fence, and then the rest of it's low fence. I think a few thousand acres, give or take. Most of it's continuous. There's a few little blocks off, but and the high fence, I gotta kind of preface this: they don't actually breed anymore. They stopped that years ago, like where they had breeding pens and were breeding.
But there's still some deer that are tagged, so they're
Yeah,
old.
they're massive, but they kind of cut that out. So everything now is pretty much just born in genetics. They just kind of keep the genetics in a certain area. So we went and he dropped me off at a stand. I had my new spotter and all-in phone scope, just trying to get some good footage, trying to learn that system. Had the Peak 44 tripod with Vortex razor,
That's not how you say it, it's a peak.
the Peak 44 tripod, and the Baby Razor, the 13 through 39 with the all-in. And was really just playing with that. And I mean, immediately just saw a ton of deer, does, a couple little small bucks, and then they were all to my left. And then probably 45 minutes, had an absolute man walk in and watched him. He came from the which would be the east side.
Is this the messy one or red man?
This would be one of the red mans. And they call him Red Man because he still had a tag in his ear from way back in the day. And they did that way back when to kind of track genetics.
Yeah. And you could tell who was red man even though there was 2 red tag deer.
Yeah. And so watched that deer for a while, and then he kind of got where he was looking around a whole bunch. And then I look, and just this monstrosity of a deer walked out. He was massive, and I have some incredible footage of him.
Yeah, we'll maybe post a little short of him because
And
he is giant and messy.
and that razor, I mean, it looked like, TV quality to me, because that deer was probably 80, 100 yards away, and you could just zoom in there and look. It was crystal clear, but just
Like
got to
80, 100?
80 to 100 yards away.
Oh,
It's kind of a field.
yeah.
So, I mean, we weren't hunting, we were just looking. And just had a great time, got picked up, and then we were hunting the next day. So fast forward to the next day, this would be October the 2nd. And
Day away from Dad's birthday.
yeah, day away from my birthday. So they dropped me off a section of low fence, and I just see an absolute ton of deer, but nothing shooter worthy. A lot of young bucks.
Which at our deer camp would like be trophies.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see a lot of bucks this go around. I saw a ton of deer, or a ton of does, a lot of fawns, even some spotted fawns. They had a real bad drought probably 3 years ago, so the last 3 or 4 years, they haven't shot any does, and
Really?
I think they've rebounded in spades, so there's just does everywhere, and they're gonna actually start doing some doe management this year, but the drought really hit the herd,
Yeah.
pretty bad. But I just saw a ton of does, even saw some turkeys,
Yeah, you did,
saw some
actually.
nice
Those are Rios, right?
Rios. Yeah, they had Rios there.
It'd be cool if it was in Gould.
Yeah, that's a lot further
Yeah, I
west
know.
and south. But saw a lot of deer, no shooters, and Chase actually he likes to hunt high fence. He wants big
Yeah, he
deer,
does.
so he went to the high fence and saw a ton of deer, but really was indecisive on kind of what caliber of deer he wanted to shoot, and we'll get more into high fence hunting in a bit, but it has its own challenges. So anyway, we convene and talk and have a good time, and then we shoot some guns. And actually, I cleaned my gun before I went, which I never
Oh,
do,
yeah.
and it was actually shooting a little to the right. So I took out a lot of that copper fouling, and
What is it this copper fouling?
just where little pieces of copper come off as it's turning down the rifle,
Oh.
leaves a little bit of copper trace in the bullet, or I'm sorry, the barrel.
But no more copper now.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. So we shot that. I moved my gun a little bit. Chase had a 44 mag lever action he wanted to
Yeah.
sight in, which was incredibly fun. He was having a hard time with that. Oh, Joe, you'll like this.
What?
He was really struggling getting it in, sighted in at the range.
Yeah.
So we're sighting it in, and I'm like telling him to make adjustments, and the gun isn't Joe just dropped his microphone, so if there's
Sorry.
a loud bump or anything, that's why.
Sorry about that.
We're at the range trying to get sighted in. I'm telling 50 yards. I'm telling him to make adjustments. It's just not moving. And I look over there, and he bought a mil dot scope, a mil scope instead of an MOA. So all the adjustments were in mils.
They use those in Army.
Yeah, Chase, even Joe knows that. But anyway, he didn't know it, and once I figured out it was in Mills, we started making the right corrections. But I told him that's probably why he found the scope on sale. It was, but once we figured that out, we got it dialed in. The gun was shooting great. We backed up to 100 yards with a 44 mag, lever action.
So I'm guessing you know how to sight in mills?
I'm not good at it. I don't really like using Mills. I understand it a little bit, but I've forgotten a lot about it. So we got that sighted in. 100 yards, it was grouping incredible. Shot my gun and actually moved it over an inch and a half. Height was fine. And then Chase shot his sequence, and he shot one shot perfect. And then Mr. Bradley shot it, and we couldn't really tell where Bradley shot. And come to find out, him and Chase put it in the exact same hole.
Like the exact same hole.
Yeah, Bradley's shot went directly in Chase's hole, and then he said, he actually shot again, but he purposely moved it to the left of the hole and shot right next to the left.
Did he purposely shoot to the left?
I don't know. We'll have to talk to him about it. But it was pretty cool to see. He actually pulled the target and has it framed. He's going to put it in his, I guess, his enclosed trailer or maybe the camp house or something. I don't know. But the guns were on. Had a little fun doing that. Then we went out that night. So the ranch is pretty contiguous, which is a big chunk of land. But then they have like a couple other sections we call it grass patch, and it's kind of, you don't know what you're going to see over there. They even have a couple of zebus, which are like those cows.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have them. Somehow they just showed up. They think somebody left them or kicked them out. And so they're kind of over there. So I went and sat over there. I think Bradley said he had probably 8 or 9 shooters.
What's the difference between a regular cow and a zebu cow?
I have no idea.
Just bigger or something?
No, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Said he had like 4 or 5 shooters over there, and like they killed a big old pig over there the other day, and they've just been seeing a lot of deer.
Was it as big as yours though?
Yeah, it was a massive pig.
Really?
And so I sat there and actually didn't see anything but does, which was weird. And I get a little text message from Chase with just the blood emoji. So it tells me, tells me he shot, and I'm like, "What'd you shoot? What'd you shoot?" Actually, I need to back up. Let me back up for a second. Part of the story. So when Chase went Wednesday night and Thursday morning, they were looking at a bunch of deer, and they had another red tag deer that was absolutely gorgeous. Big mainframe 10.
Let me tell them how far the shot was in a minute.
No, we're not talking about that.
Oh.
Chase, they saw this big red tag deer, mainframe 10, just a gorgeous deer. I like this deer a lot. And I kept talking about this deer. And I was trying to talk Chase into shooting it. And I was like, man, that's, because he was looking at some big deer and all this stuff. I was like, man, that's a gorgeous deer. We should shoot that. So I kept talking about that deer. Well, I shot, or no, I didn't shoot. Chase shot. And he's like, it's Red Man, this is the Red Man that I'm talking about, the big mainframe 10. I'm like, oh, awesome. Like, that's the one you should have shot. That was my favorite one, blah, blah, blah. Well, I get there and I see the deer, and I'm like, that's not Red Man. He ended up shooting a big old deer, 173.5 inches.
And then the shot was 250 yards without the zero.
That's true. 25 yards. But the deer actually came in at over 100, didn't give him a shot, and did that thing where it turned and walked head on at him, and it wouldn't move or anything like that. And they actually got Chases on video. Really, just kind of folded him. It ended up being 25 yards, which was a lot closer than they wanted it to be. But the deer walked head on.
Yeah, like the deer was dead right as the bullet hit it.
And so
picture a dog having bad dreams, like what is that called? Like where the muscles like move around when it's dead.
Twitching? I don't know.
I can't remember what.
So anyway, Chase was on the board. Beautiful deer, heavy deer,
giant.
Yeah, giant deer. I was like, that's not Red Man, so they're kind of messing with me about it. So that would have been Thursday evening. So kind of the mood in camp was good. I think we had some steaks or something. And so then Friday comes along. Friday happened to be my birthday.
Yeah.
How old did I turn?
Let's just say it's 4.
4. I turned 4?
Yeah.
Now go ahead and tell them.
40.
Yeah. So it was my 40th birthday. I was in Texas deer hunting. I can't complain.
Let me say one thing. So Mom texts Chase like, don't let him come back without a deer. And he was like, yeah, I'm working on it. Don't say a thing.
You really don't know how to tell a story.
Well, I was just saying.
You don't know how to tell a story at all. At all. You jump around. So anyway, wake up and like the night before, trying to figure out where we want to go, what we want to do, all that kind of stuff. And actually, all these years, I've never sat in a stand with Bradley, because normally, like when you have this kind of thing, they have somebody sit with you. Me and Chase kind of float around a little bit, so I was sitting by myself. But Bradley's like, "I'm gonna take you to my honey hole,"
Oh, yeah.
and I was like, "All right, whatever." I've never, you're the man calling the shots. I'm just here for a good time, as they say. And so we're getting up, and like Brad's like, we ain't got to go far. So like, the sun's kind of creeping up and all this stuff, and we finally get in the buggy to take off. And I'm not really saying a whole lot. I'm just trying to figure out where we're going. Next thing I know, we're driving. I'm like, where are we going? He's like, don't worry about it. It's my honey hole. And I was like, all right. Next thing I know, we pull up to the high fence, and I don't say anything. I just get out and open the fence, get in, and we keep on driving, and we're in the offense. Next thing I know, we pull up to a shooting house, and he's like, "Get out." I'm like, "Okay." So I jump out, get my stuff, and he goes and parks the buggy, gets in. I look at him like, "No, really, what are we doing here?" Because everybody knows I'm not the biggest high fence person. I don't dislike it. I don't have anything against it.
But when you get it, you take it
I've
because
just
that's a good opportunity.
I've just never it's never really been something I've wanted to do. He's like, "No, get in." And so we're there, and I'm like, "What are we doing?" He's like, "Hey, you're shooting one of the red men today." He's like, "If it works out." I'm like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Don't worry about it." He was like, "You're gonna shoot red man." And I said, "Okay." I kinda told Joe this part of the story, because like, high fence is not my thing, but when people are doing something nice for you, it's probably, yeah, a good idea to just
Yeah,
shut up and let them do it. Excuse me. So, we're sitting there, and next thing I know, it worked like a charm. We had deer everywhere.
like an ocean of deer.
I've never seen so many deer in my life. And he's like, "Hey, there were 2 deer that we call red man. One of them was the big mainframe 10 that I liked a whole lot. The other one was the one I watched the day before, or the night we got there. And actually, the one I watched the day before probably was a little bit bigger. He actually had a broke off tine,
Yeah, he did.
and he was just a chunk of a deer. And he's like, "Hey, the one you saw the other night's to our left." And I was like, "All right." So I had to, I got my gun out of the window, and I had to actually shoot. And so Bradley was sitting next to me, so the gun would have to go over him out of the window. And it's still pretty, sun's still cracking. He's like, "I'd like to go ahead and shoot before the sun comes up and these deer can really pinpoint us." So I'm on it. But one of the things of hunting where there's a lot of deer around is you don't really get a whole lot of shot opportunity.
Yeah, because you want to make sure it doesn't just zip through the deer and get another one.
Yeah, I mean, you got kind of a high stakes shot going on. So I'm lined up, and I'm looking. There's does behind him and in front of him. Like I don't have a shot, but I'm seconds from taking the safety off. And I hear Bradley go, "Hold on, the other red deer just walked up." And so I'm talking to him. "All right, sorry about that.
Yeah,
Actually, we're sitting outside, and FedEx decided to pull up,
yeah. We
and
had
it
to
was
go grab that real quick.
pure chaos. Dogs are barking, and FedEx driver noise. So right in the middle of the story, I had to pause
Yeah.
it. All right, so let's back up. I got my gun hanging out the window, and Bradley goes, "The other red deer's up, the one you like." And he walked in, and I'm like, "Hey, hold my gun for a second." So he had to like hold my gun, and I grab my binos and I look. I'm just like, if I'm gonna shoot one, that's the deer I want to shoot. Just absolutely gorgeous. And so I pull my gun out of that window, and I'm trying to get on this deer, but it's when Joe said a sea of deer, ocean of deer. I've never seen so many deer in my life. This deer came from our right, and he jumped in down the lane, and there were, I think Bradley stopped counting at 85 plus deer. There may have been 100 deer in front of us,
Probably
and
more than that.
and that has its own challenges. So I was kind of tracking the deer through the scope, but had the safety on, gun, finger nowhere near the trigger. And every time I'd be like, maybe there's a shot, because there were every big deer on that property pretty much came out. And every time you're like, oh, maybe there's a shot there, you'd have 200 inches of horn or antler just come in front of your frame and or through your scope, and you're like, no, I'm not even close to shooting. And when the deer came out, he got kind of in the sea of deer and walked away from us with his butt facing us. And it's just incredible to watch. I mean, I've never been in this position in my life, and it's just pure chaos for about 10, 15 minutes, and deer everywhere. We're trying to track this deer, And we watch him, and he walks behind some trees, no shot, and he's actually leaving. And he walks down behind a big berm, kind of a big brush pile, and all I can see is his antlers and his eyes, and he's looking directly at us. And I made the joke.
Pop him right in the dome.
I made the joke with Bradley. I can shoot him right in the head if I want, but you wouldn't take that shot. It was a complete joke. And
yeah, because that would mess up your entire like taxidermy thing. Then you
yeah.
wouldn't be able to taxidermy.
So, like, I mean, emotions are running, and it's just chaos trying to get everything going. And all of a sudden, he steps like he's actually about to walk back towards the like shooting lane that I had. And he steps out, and I see his body, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, if he can get to here, because there's 4 or 5 does in front of him, I can't shoot, and there's some deer behind him. And Bradley's like, hey, when you get the shot, take it. And there's 2 trees, and when he clears one tree, I could shoot, but there's like 1 or 2 steps for the next tree. And when he gets to that other tree, he's back in the sea of deer. There's really not a lot of shot. And you just you can tell when it's on. And so he's moving, and he steps behind this tree, and I see the opportunity. There's no deer in front of him, no deer behind him. And I let the shot off. And he wasn't fully stopped, but he wasn't moving fast. And shot felt good, shot looked good. He kicked. Brad's like, good shot, everything looked good. But he jumps into the sea of deer, and they all just take off away from us. And we have no idea where this deer went. And I mean, deer splitting to the right, splitting to the left, going straight. It was pandemonium for a minute. And so we actually just hang out in the stand and watch deer, let everything settle down.
It was like a cacophony of deer.
Yeah, that's a big word. Congratulations.
What?
So there's deer everywhere. And so we just kind of chill, and we're watching deer, and I'm actually getting some video, some of the other deer that come back for Bradley, and we're just hanging out for about an hour and a half, letting them just kind of do their thing. And we get down and we go look, and we find the spot where you're shot, and I'm like, huh.
The best part's coming up.
Yeah. A little bit of blood, a little bit of hair. Oddly, almost looked like a little bit of gut matter. And I'm like, huh. And I've been shooting these federal barns, federal TSX with the Barnes 165. And Joe, what have I been saying for a year?
Gotta change bullets because they just like don't do anything. They don't leave any blood like vital. There's like barely any blood, and non-vital, so there's like, oh, there's a lot of blood.
Yeah, so I've been shooting these Barnes TSX Federals 165 out of a 300 Win Mag, and every deer we've shot has been the same. There's not a lot of blood.
It's like picture a raindrop, but a little bit bigger.
But the deer have all been dead within 75 yards.
Yeah, I know.
And so they work, but they're not leaving you a good blood trail. So I was telling Bradley this. I was like, this is kind of what I've seen. I just haven't changed bullets. I was like, normally I see this and I find the deer within 75 yards, 100 yards. So, but we don't know where this deer went. He could have went right. He could have went left. He could have went straight. And so we're walking around. We don't really see anything. We don't want to tear the place up too bad. So we actually get in the buggy, go back to camp. We grab Chase. We actually get one of the dogs, Dax, old dog. He's just always laying around. He's laying around in the side-by-side. But the moment we get close to getting into where he knows he's going to work, man, he's sitting up in that chair like a human.
Like, he's like, squirrel?
Yeah, and he's ready to go. So we ride back out there, and
but in this case, it'll be blood?
Yeah, Dax jumps out, and he goes to the right, kind of wins it. Doesn't get anything, and he starts off on the track. And he starts moving in a direction that we didn't walk. I'm like, oh, okay, good. He'll get over here. The deer will be dead. And the way Dax is trained is if he finds the deer, he doesn't bark. If he doesn't find, or if the deer's dead, he doesn't bark. If the deer's alive, he starts barking. But we keep walking this dog's track, and I'm like, I look at Chase. I'm like, man, this doesn't feel right. We should have had a deer by now. 10, 15 minutes goes by, and we're walking all over the place. Next thing I know, Dax starts barking. And I'm like, oh, man, this ain't good. And I see the deer get up and start hauling. And so Chase is on. Bradley's running after the deer and Dax, and I take off. Next thing I know, we're belling off in the ditches, probably 8 feet deep. 1-2 steps, jumping at the bottom.
Tell the funny part.
I will. You need to learn to tell a story. Stop rushing it. So Bradley bells off. I bell off. And there's actually 3 of these in a row. So it's like down an 8-foot ditch, back up the other side, down, up, down, up. So the Dax actually bays up the deer, and Bradley actually pulls his pistol. He's about to shoot, but I'm literally right behind him. And the way it works is we're looking at the deer's butt, and the dog's just going to town. And you never want to shoot the dog. So I try to take 2 steps to my right to get an angle away from the dog. And somehow the deer sees us and spooks out and takes off. And he's wounded bad. So he's not fully running and all that kind of stuff. And the deer takes off. Dax takes off behind him. Next thing I know, me and Bradley are taking off, and Bradley's in front of me, and I catch him about 200 yards or so, maybe 250. Dax actually bays him again. I'm more out in the open, and I'm there, and I pull up on a tree and tell Bradley to get down, and I end up taking a shot, and we put the deer down. And it went from a harvest, because really the high fence hunting is a harvest, right? I'm not gonna try to argue and be like, oh, it's a hunt. It's a crazy hard hunt. It has its own challenges, right? But it turned into a hunt pretty quick, and you never want to wound a deer, but more than that, you never want to lose a deer.
I found Mr. Chase.
And I'm getting there. And so we get the deer down. Next thing you know, Chase strolls up, and Chase is a big old boy. He's like 6'5" or something. And he's huffing and puffing. I think we all were huffing and puffing, but he was huffing and puffing. We're like, where were you? And apparently one of the ditches, he went back down and face to the sky. He fell in one of the ditches and busted his butt. So we got to laugh about that. But we got the deer down. Had a big old story. I mean, hindsight, I probably wouldn't have traded. I guess I would have traded a better shot, and we'll talk about the shot. But man, it's a heck of a story. I don't think any of us will forget, which is really what it all comes down to. And so I ended up killing the biggest deer of my life on the morning of my 40th birthday. Dax did an incredible job tracking the deer, and the deer actually ended up dying 75 yards from where I shot him from. So if anybody asks, he died within 75 yards.
Yeah.
So we get it, we get our pictures and do all that kind of stuff, and I am talking to him and really just, thanking everybody, trying to figure out what exactly happened. And they had actually played me the entire trip, where they were going to put me on a deer for my birthday. Chase had even text Lauren about, getting a big deer and all this kind of stuff way before the trip. So this has been planned out. They kind of played me for a fool and strung me along. I had no idea what we were doing. And so I was grateful to everybody for that. I mean, you can't beat it when people want to do something nice for you.
And then when you messed up the shot, everybody ragged you.
Yeah. But it makes you feel special that people want to do something for you, and forever grateful for those guys. And then, we start analyzing the shot, and really, we don't know what happened. I'm not going to put pictures up, but I normally aim a rib or two back from the shoulder so I don't ruin a bunch of meat. Well, this was exactly in line with that, about 2 or 3 inches low. So the injury wound went in right behind the front shoulder.
Perfect shot.
It should have been a dead deer, 100%. But the exit wound was actually right
by its back shoulder,
the opposite back ham. And so the only thing we can guess what happened, and Mr. Lindsay that actually owns the place mentioned he's seen this, is it was an 84-yard shot. And these bullets are moving like 31,000 feet, or I'm sorry, 3,150 feet per second. And the only thing he can think of is that it actually hit a rib and deflected. And if you look, when we clean the deer, you have the entrance wound right where it should be, maybe a little low, but still should have been a dead deer. It had about a 4-inch channel down the side of its rib cage, where I'm guessing that bullet hit, and it was going so fast it deflected off and started tumbling down the rib cage. And then once it got past the rib cage, it found something soft and exited out the other side. So theoretically, the shot actually was not bad.
No.
But bullets do some funny things. But still, they ragged me pretty hard. Mr. Lindsay grabbed my gun, was looking at it, asking about a crooked barrel, and I was the butt of the jokes for the rest of the weekend, which I was fine with. But killed an absolute gorgeous deer, 154 inches, mainframe 10, trash, kickers, just really all the things. And had to really get over it being a high fence deer because it's just so gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Joe, if we've talked about this, but I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like high fence hunting.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is it's kind of a harvest as a hunt, but you can take that topic and dive in as deep as you want. And what I mean by that is there's people that don't like high fence hunting, say it's not fair or it's cheating. There's
I
people
say that.
there's there's people that say the exact same. There's people that look at throwing corn out or baiting deer is like high fence hunting, right?
Yeah, but here in Mississippi, no beat, no, no bait, no deer.
Well, so it depends on how deep you want to go, right? Because I've heard people argue that if you hunt over a food plot, because that's technically baiting deer.
Yeah.
It's the same as hunting over corn. It's the same as hunting over high fence. So, you know, everybody has their own thoughts about it, and I can go either way. If they got rid of baiting and food plots tomorrow in Mississippi, I wouldn't be mad. But if it's legal, it's legal. And so it really just kind of depends on how you look at high fence hunting or bait hunting or all of the above. And everybody can have their own opinions about it. I'm not one to tell you which way you should go about it. Me personally, high fence hunting, I look at more like a harvest. But at the end of the day, we all kind of do this thing for memories, food, and really kind of the time. And what I can tell you about my high fence hunting experience is I have memories that'll last a lifetime.
Sure.
Things we'll never forget. I would trade a better shot to put the deer out of, to put the deer out of his misery faster. But as far as the story goes, I wouldn't trade the story because it turned into something that was more individual, like with just me shooting the deer being dead, to me, Chase, Bradley going after the deer, running,
Chase busting his
butt. It turned into more of a group memory than an individual memory, if that makes sense. And that goes a long way. But it's just an incredible experience.
And what'd you find at the ranch?
What do you mean?
Horseshoe.
I'm not even there yet.
Okay.
It's a long story.
I didn't know when you found it. I thought you already found it.
No, I found that dove hunting. So anyway, great. We got the deer put up and, just big celebratory stuff. And we went back hunting again that afternoon. We took Mr. Lindsay, the landowner's son, is 11, and Bradley was going to take him to go hunt. And so me and Chase got in a box. We were hunting pigs, and actually Chase was going to shoot another deer if he saw one he liked. And as we were pulling up, saw this pig in the field. And actually, we think it's a javelina, which would be pretty far north for javelinas. But it had that triangle-shaped javelina head, but it was a big body.
Did it have, like, a white collar?
Yeah, it had a lot of stuff, and we started calling it a have-a-hog. But Cade, the landowner's son, took a shot at it and hit a little low. Never saw it again.
I just remembered the funny story that you told me about him. When his dad took him deer hunting.
Yeah. And so they hunted that night, saw two absolutely gorgeous low fence, just toads of bucks. They're 225, a little far shot for him. They didn't come in, so he ended up killing a doe.
Short. Long.
Huh? So he ended up killing a doe. We had a good trip there. And then me and Chase got back in the box again, and Bradley went hunt to kind of see what he could see. And we ended up seeing some gorgeous young 8 points and some other deer. Saw a ton of deer, and then we actually had a true enough toad come out. But
that like messy one?
No, we had a big deer come out, but actually it was too big to shoot. So the way it works is before rut, you can't shoot anything that's not a management deer on the low fence because
You never told me this.
They want those deer to breed. It literally came out, started eyeballing us, and spooked off. And I don't know if the sun was directly in our face, and I don't know if maybe the reflection of my spotting scope spooked it, or they had an extra box sitting there. Maybe it spooked, but it wasn't out long. We couldn't even fully see what it was, but it was massive, ton of mass. And so that was the end of our deer hunting. And then we went and actually shot doves that afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when I found the horseshoe I brought you.
Snipe.
An old horseshoe. I found it and asked Bradley if I could bring it back for Joe. He loved it. And learned a lot. I didn't learn a lot. Kind of reinforced what I already knew. I can't shoot a shotgun for birds worth anything.
Yeah. You remember that one time that we went duck hunting?
Yeah. But it's just not something I'm good at. But we had a good time. The birds were flying, but they were flying on the opposite end of the field. So me and Chase tried to go stalk over there, and every time we would go, they would just jump up and fly further away from us. And then we would turn and look back to where we came from, and birds were flying there. So we just kind of went back to where we were. And Chase was shooting his dad's A5 12 gauge with a compensator on the end of it. And he pulled up and shot one time, and I couldn't hear for for a long time. That thing was loud. I was shooting a Browning A5 20 gauge, an old one. I love that gun.
It has some pretty cool engravements on it, and it's old and it's really smooth. And tell them how it's like ejects the shells. The shells.
The shells.
The shells.
Well, yeah, those actually the whole barrel recoils to push the shells out.
Kind of like, I can't remember what it's called, but I think it's a Scar 50 BMG, kind of like that, how that works.
I don't know. But the A5 uses its recoil, the whole barrel recoils. But we shot a lot, ended up with 8 birds.
Yeah.
So our bullet to bird ratio is not good. But I think
what you said, like together y'all shot like almost 100 shells?
Probably, I don't know. But they weren't flying close. So a lot of the shots I took were birds that I didn't think I was gonna hit. It's kind of a Hail Mary shot. But Mr. Johnny and Bradley shot, and they only killed 8 too. So we ended up with like 16 or so birds, but I had a great time. And then I gave Mr. Johnny Joe's walking stick.
Yeah.
And he absolutely loved it. He was blown away. Said he'd actually been shopping for one. He was really, really happy about that, really appreciative of that, and loved it. And I told him next year, and I told Joe this. I think next year when I go, it's time for Joe to make a Texas trip. So he's pretty excited about that. But
if I can pull one of those turkey tags, and then we can go.
Yeah. So I mean, we had a great trip.
It's probably not gonna happen.
You know, there's a lot to it. There's a whole. I'm probably leaving stuff out, but we're already at 40 minutes. But yeah, it was a great trip. I mean, great friends, great people, great trip, great memories.
And Mr. Bradley shot a porcupine.
Yeah, they're a rodent out there, so he actually got a porcupine and skinned it out. He's going to do a taxidermy mount on that
because he's a taxidermy guy.
Taxidermist, yeah, he's really good. So yeah, that's about it. I got back and cut up the deer, tenderized it, and some processing chases, and then I got
just cleaned Mr. Chase's cooler,
Joe cleaned his cooler.
Which is giant.
It's a Grizzly 160 with a meat tray. It's massive.
It's probably bigger than Dad.
Yeah, probably. It's a big old cooler. We got a bunch of ground to do, so going to do that. And then, I actually ended up getting in the stand a couple times back home. We had a cold front come through. Yeah, had a cold front come through, so I climbed with my bow. I actually haven't seen anything. I climbed twice. The one day I didn't hunt, the bachelor group of bucks I was after came out. I'm just really not focused right now. I'm kind of focused on Montana. Yeah. I'm thinking next Tuesday or Wednesday I'm going to trek up north. So it's really just making sure I got all my stuff together for it and still scouting areas for that and trying to line up people to go walk with. It's kind of playing it by ear. I got a couple buddies up there that hopefully I can go walk around with. I don't, it's frowned upon to go walk around in the mountains by yourself. So I don't really want to do that. It's unsafe.
So are you taking somebody?
No, but I got friends up that way. So trying to get all that worked out. And then actually went and changed bullets to the bullets I was going to change to. Went and got that all dialed in with my buddy Steven at the range, going 175 terminal ascent federals. Got that really dialed in. And so hopefully next podcast we'll talk about Joe's last couple baseball games.
Yeah, because they had to reschedule them. So tonight's actually our last 2 baseball games.
Yep, we have a doubleheader tonight.
What about my tip?
And then I go to Montana and who knows. My plan is to just get up there and see some country. I don't really have high hopes of pulling the trigger.
He says that if he sees one legal bull, it's dead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have expectations. My expectations are, is it legal, right? And it's my first time, but get up there, see some country. I've never walked that country with a rifle and a tag in my hand. I've only ever done it with a shotgun and a turkey tag.
Yeah.
So really, this is just more about the experience. But they've already started to have winter roll in. I know Missoula, they got snow. It's already down in the 30s. They had
snow in May when we went there that one time.
Yeah, but they have snow right now. So it should be an interesting trip. That's really all I got on Texas. Did I leave anything out?
My tip.
Yeah, we're getting there. Did I leave anything out on Texas that you remember?
Let me think. No.
All right. Joe's tip of the day, tip of the week, tip of the podcast.
So I've totally forgot that we were doing a podcast. Thought we were doing it after our games tonight. So my tip is that if your bullets aren't leaving a good enough blood trail, you better switch them.
That feels like a little salt in the wound over here. Yeah, you trying to little dig. I'm just happy you didn't roast me for wounding a deer. Even though I'm gonna say it's not my fault, but it is my fault because I pulled the trigger. But the shot still wasn't that bad.
And also, it's your fault because you didn't change bullets.
Yeah,
so.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Let's see my joke. Are we ready for the joke?
If you got one.
I just made this one up. It's not fully made up, but what does the coach say to its steak when they're racing the championship race?
I have no idea what you just said.
This is high stakes.
That sucked. Yeah. I ain't gonna sugarcoat that. That wasn't good.
I didn't have anything else.
I would have just passed on the joke of the day. Here, I'll give you a tip of it. I'll give you a tip.
What?
Surround yourself with good people and good friends.
Yeah, make good memories.
Yeah. Hunting is fun, but the memories you get from it last a lifetime. Because one day, I feel this now that I turned 40. You'll be old and not able to do some of these things. So if you can, get out and do them while you build the memories. Because, that these Texas trips are, with friends and people you like to be around, those things will last a lifetime. The meat and all that kind of stuff fades, but the experiences you had, it goes a long way, and hopefully get Joe involved, and he's already involved, but we'll build some of these memories outside of Mississippi with him too. So
yeah.
Got anything else?
Nope.
I think that's all I got.
I believe this is our longest podcast.
I think so. It's 44 minutes and some change. So tell them what they need to do.
We've never even reached 40.
Yeah, well, there was a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So tell them what they need to do.
Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thank you.
All right, y'all have a good one.